What's going on, everybody? Here in the car, wanted to film another video for you guys talking about why I paid an 18-year-old high school dropout, Iman Gadzhi, $2,000 to learn from him and just have some coaching with him. Basically, here's the thing. A lot of you know Iman. You know that he's, a expert in social media marketing. He runs a social media marketing agency that pulls in quite a bit of money, runs a personal brand that sells some courses that pulls in quite a bit of money, and all this stuff. And he's somebody that I've learned a lot from, and now I've developed a bit of a relationship with him, and have been able to learn from him in coaching. I started off paying him $2,000 for coaching. Now I just go to him, I shoot him texts and ask for advice, and he's just a really smart dude, answers all my questions, very, very on point, very smart, tactical thinker. And so I wanted to talk about what I actually learned paying him $2,000, because there's a lot of people that are probably wanting to go into coaching with him and wanting to learn from him. And you're probably going to either be very disappointed or shocked by my answers to what I actually learned. But I'll get into that in a moment. So here's how I found Iman. I found Iman through YouTube. A lot of people find him through his ad. He runs ads to grow his YouTube. And I actually found him just naturally through YouTube, just searching around, learning stuff about social media marketing and learning stuff about, personal branding. And I ended up working with him coaching. He gave me all of his programs for free. I just went through all the programs, learned a bunch from them. And, I think the few key tactical takeaways I got from him was learning systems and processes. So you got to have your systems and processes in place. I didn't have any systems and processes in place, at the time. I was just very willy-nilly about how I went about business, and therefore I capped myself at a certain amount of monthly revenue, right? But after I worked with him, I realized, the importance of systems and processes, and I started to implement those. And it's almost like I already knew the importance of systems and processes, but he really took those, the ideas of systems and processes and made me understand, look, this is how important it is, and this is, without systems and processes, you're literally just locking yourself into a certain amount of money, and you're never going to go past it. So that's the main tactical takeaway, to be honest with you. It's very simple thing. Now I structure coaching differently, and now for my clients that I build webinars for, I build their webinars differently. For my social media marketing agency, I run it differently now. For my coaching, for my courses that I sell, everything's run a little bit differently now, with a sort of a mental focus of systems and processes. Because that's the end game. The end game is to set up systems and processes that generate revenue for you so that you're working on your business instead of in it. And that's the biggest takeaway that I really learned working with this guy, that from a tactical vantage point. But now here's onto the more shocking, more maybe, I don't know, I don't want to offend anybody, but outside of that, I literally learned nothing from him. And I'm not bashing him. This is a wonderful thing. I'm going to explain to you why this is a really wonderful thing. And Iman, you should probably put this on a site somewhere or something, because it's almost a response to his video. He put out a video where he talked about the behind the curtain illusion, where he's yeah, people view other successful people as if they're behind a curtain, and I totally agree. My clients that work with me, they think there's something special. Or I get comments or Instagram DMs of people how on earth did you do this? You dropped out of high school, you started your own business, and I always talk about how I've been in a public school building 3 times in my life, and 2 of them were to teach, right? I've literally never even stepped foot in one of those things, except 3 times. And so people are how the heck did you do this? And they see it as this special thing. And I had that same almost not envy, that's probably the wrong word, but you know what I'm saying? I had that same vision of Iman, and I was this kid's so special. There's something going on here that I had to learn from, and that's why I was willing to pay him the $2,000. And the reason I paid him was I had personal issues. I had things I was trying to, mental blocks I was trying to break through. And I realized after spending a month with him, which is 4 phone calls and a lot of back and forth over WhatsApp, I realized here's the thing that I realized. There's nothing special about him. And there's nothing different about him. And that was at first I was kind of disappointed. I was man, I'm learning nothing from this guy. All this stuff is stuff that I understand. But then I realized, that's the most beautiful thing on the planet. I'm learning nothing from him. How great is that? Because that means I have all that crap in my head. It's already there, it was almost as if I needed to hear it, and I needed to hear, look, you already know this stuff, and it's already there, and you just need to work. The difference is that he has focused, the 80-20 rule, right? He's focused on the 20% that generates 80% of the results, whereas I, in my business, have focused on the 80% trying to get it to look good and feel good, while I, drive 20% of the results that I could be driving, right? So that's the difference between him and I, and that's the main thing that I learned, is that this kid is focused on the 20%. I've focused on the 80%. But besides that, everything else I knew. And so why that's such a revelation to me is because it's like I used to put him on a pedestal. Like I'd been following him for like 4 months maybe, and I used to think there's something special, like he's got like connections or something, and there's like something going on here that like I can't explain. But once I got on the phone with him and asked him questions, like we were literally like two dudes just like making jokes. It felt like sometimes like it felt like the coaching calls weren't even like tactical coaching calls. It just felt like I was just talking to him just normally, and I realized that it was so valuable because I was breaking down the illusion of who this person was. He's not special. There's nothing special about him. He's like some freaking kid. And like, Iman, if you're watching this, I hope you're not offended by that, but like, you're literally, the reason why he's so successful isn't because he's got anything special. It's because he's done things smart and tactical. And that is not hard to do. If you just focus on what drives the result and forget everything else, you're going to grow a business. And that's what he's done. He's focused on that little bit that drives result, and he's forgotten everything else that is fluff and that doesn't matter. And that's why he's growing his business so well. And so I thought I was going to go onto the call and I was going to be given like a bunch of funnels, which he did give me, like a funnel for getting people into my social media marketing agency better. And then he helped me structure coaching better, which has allowed me now to book higher dollar coaching students and structure that out better. And I learned a lot about his sales strategies and quite a bit of technical stuff. But that's the main takeaway, is that I took away nothing, and therefore he's like, there's nothing different. So for those of you who are wanting to work with him, I highly recommend you do it. He's very smart, very tactical. Could not recommend him enough. But for me personally, and this is only my case, it was like I got on the phone with him, and literally within the first call, I was like, shoot, I spent $2,000. I'm going to do the other 3 calls, but I spent $2,000 just now, and this better be worth it. And then from a tactical vantage point, it wasn't. But from an emotional and almost spiritual vantage point, it totally was, because it broke down the wall. I was like, this kid's not special. There's nothing about this guy that is anything that I couldn't do as well. And so it was a very positive return on my investment. And ever since, I've been just skyrocketing in business. And here's the main takeaway. For those of you who are, maybe fans of Iman and you're learning from him, here's the main takeaway. Everything that he's doing, you could be doing as well. Everything that anybody's doing, you could be doing as well. Everything that anybody does that you put on a pedestal, you could be doing as well. As long as you take them off of the pedestal. Take these people off of the pedestals that you're putting them on. Take money off of the pedestal that you're putting it on. Take success off of the pedestal that you're putting it on. And then instantly it becomes so much easier to reach. Because if you put it on a pedestal, what you're telling yourself is, you're telling yourself that that's something that I'm not worthy of, and that's something that I can't do. Therefore, I'm not going to try. And if you have things on a pedestal, and you put things on a pedestal, and you make them your idols, essentially, you make them your gods, then you're not going to do it. You're not going to reach that goal, because subconsciously you've told yourself that you're not worthy of it because it's now on a pedestal. So take it off the pedestal, break it down. I had to spend $2,000 to break it down, because this kid was literally like, everything that he was successful at, I'm like, man, I should be successful at that. Like, I have everything that I could be doing. But it was very humbling for me, to be honest with you, because I was just like, I thought I was like the bomb. Like, I live in Indiana. Indiana is not an entrepreneurial state. I am like the most successful kid for miles here. Like, and I'm not that successful. I'm really not that successful. But like, at my church, at like the youth group that I used to go to, at like, with my local community, like, I'm like the kid. And it's not good that I'm the kid, because I'm not that successful. So people even put me on a pedestal. And it's just like, just take people off the pedestal. There's no reason for that pedestal to exist. The longer it's there, the more you're hindering yourself, and the more you're keeping yourself at bay. Get rid of it. Realize that everybody who's successful isn't successful because they themselves are special. They're successful because they're following principles that anybody can follow, including you. So that's what I learned paying an 18-year-old kid $2,000 to learn from him. And this is one of my methodologies. I've always taught people, if you see somebody that you can learn from, just pay them for their freaking time. Like, I DM'd him on Instagram. I said, hey, how much would it cost? Like, I need to get on the phone with you. How much would it cost to just learn from you for like a month? He's like, sent me a quote. Sweet. Paid it. We went. I've done that 1,000 times, but this one was the most valuable because he's my age. And it's like, he just broke down so many false beliefs for me, which were like, I need to wait till I'm like 25 or 26 to actually start working. But like, that's such bull. I just do it now. Right? Like, if I spend the next year just putting out YouTube videos on this account about social media marketing and about coaching and about personal branding and stuff, that will drive inbound leads and I'll get attention, and then things will work. But I have false beliefs that hold me back because I put these things on pedestals. So anyway, that's what I learned. As confusing and maybe crazy as that was, that's what I learned. I learned nothing, therefore I learned a ton. So it's that's what I learned from you, Iman. If you're watching this video, love you, bro. Very, very happy for your success. Congratulations on your first million. And thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. And follow me on Instagram. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Got tons of content on here about personal branding, about social media marketing, about all that stuff. Very, very valuable stuff on this YouTube channel. And yeah, thanks for watching. See you in the next one.